Hi everyone, welcome to Bible Bites. This week I want to think a bit about what it means to be a friend. Now, again, there's loads we could say about that from the Bible. It's absolutely full of stories of friendships, of how they go well and how they go wrong. There's loads we can learn. And so as always, every week, we're just looking at a slither of that in these few minutes we have together. So what it means to be a friend. Well, I think about Jesus and his disciples, and I think about friendship. And I think that, well, Jesus called people to follow him. He called people to learn from him, to go with him along the road, to eat with him, to serve with him, to meet people, to discuss and debate. And it was like a teacher and a student relationship. It was a rabbi and a disciple. That was one type of friendship. There's a specific type of friendship, but there's another going on in this group, which is often not in the limelight when we're talking about the gospel stories. And it's the friendships that would have been between the disciples, between the group of people that followed Jesus along the road. Because one relationship is Jesus is like the master, the rabbi, who knows everything that needs to be known and knows how to respond and act. And the disciple, the student, is learning from the rabbi. And there's a certain type of relationship there. Whereas between the disciples, between Simon and Andrew, they were brothers, or between any of the other disciples, there would have been much more of an equal relationship in the sense that they're both learning together. They're both encountering Jesus. They're seeing what he's doing. They're seeing the challenging and controversial things he's saying. And they're working out, what does this mean? Who is he? What is going on? I think we often paint them in a really bad picture and we say, oh, they're just, numpties who didn't know what they were doing. And yeah, we see a good dose of that in the Gospels, I think. But also, I think they're like anyone else. They're working it out as they go along. And we see in Acts chapter 2, at the day of Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit is given, that these people are transformed and suddenly they do get it and they are going out and they are on fire for God. But they've not lost that connection with each other. They've not lost those friendships. And we see that when they face troubles ahead, what do? Well, they gather together. They have a council together and they'll share and discuss and figure out what to do. And when they're on the road together, when Paul is on the road, he's always travelling with someone. He never goes out alone. Friendship is really important. And one thing that I want to stress in this particular video is that having a friend or one or two people who you are particularly close to, who you feel you could be really honest with, who you trust and who you're accountable to, actually can be really life-giving and can be really encouraging. There's this concept in the first century called Haverim or a Haver, and it literally means a friend. So people would have studied as disciples under a rabbi, but as the disciples were studying, they would have had a friend that they would have studied with. They would have had a Haver. Now, I found this on the course that I've been studying whilst I've been working in the circuit, that I've had my teachers and lecturers, the people that have been coming to open up the Bible to us and to teach us and to show us all these things, and it's been so exciting and thrilling, and I've loved every step of it. But just as integral to my learning has been the friend who I've sat with in my lectures alongside. The person who I would go out into the corridor straight after the lecture and we would be firing questions backwards and forwards and we'd be wrestling with each other. And I'm thinking of a particular person. He's got very different views to me on different things and I've got different views to him. But there's so much that unites us and so much that we share. And that makes for a really special relationship because it means we can wrestle through ideas together. It become a bit of a running joke that whenever we sat down for a meal together, people knew if they were going to sit at our table what we were going to be talking about. It was going to be about the lectures we've just had. It was going to be about the latest thing we thought was interesting that we'd just discovered. It was going to be something about faith and life and what it means to follow Jesus. It was going to be something like that. And so people knew that if they were going to sit with us, they'd better get ready for an intense conversation about something or other. Now, that kind of friend is a very unique relationship, and I've had a few in the short time that I've been a Christian now, and they have been absolutely life-giving and mutually so. I think that we have encouraged one another. We'll ask each other questions of each other that others just wouldn't ask because we have that trust. Now, as I describe that kind of relationship, I wonder whether for you feel like you've ever had a friendship like that. or whether there's someone you can think of now that you already have that friendship with. Whether you do or you do not, can I encourage you to pray for that person to come into your life? And if they're already in your life, can I encourage you to pray that that relationship would go deeper? It's one of mutuality, it's one of trust, and it's also one of growth. It's someone that you would grow alongside, that you could share your questions that perhaps might be a little bit heretical, or might be a little bit, we shouldn't say this in polite conversation about what we believe, but I actually genuinely wrestle with it. We need these people and we need these places to be able to talk about the things that really matter to us. Because when we have the Bible studies and when we have the church services, we can go a bit deep, we can explore these issues together, but we can't bare our hearts out to everyone around us all the time. We need the safe places to do that. We need the trusted friends to do that with. And so, can I encourage you this week, if you don't already, search for and find a Haver. Find a friend who you can wrestle through things with, especially a friend who knows Jesus, who you can wrestle through the faith with. Let me know what you think.